So what is up, guys? This is the 2017 Subaru Forester. That's going to be the 4-cylinder turbocharged CVT engine that comes as an upgrade for the Forester. Looking at the outside of the car, I'll kind of walk around and show you guys what's going on with it compared to the standard Forester. On the Premium, on the XT Touring and the XT Premium, you're going to see that there is the 18-inch wheels, a little bit different looking wheels, still probably the same material as far as sturdiness goes. Coming over to the mirrors, on the Premium, both the standard engine and on the XT engine model, you can't see it now because the car is not on, but there's a little Subaru icon right here that actually lights up at night or whenever you turn the car on. That will illuminate the door as well as the ground, so if you were to drop your keys in the ground or anything like that, that's kind of useful to have, especially at night. It's definitely come in handy for me a couple times. I just have the Premium, I don't have the Touring. On the Touring model, there's keyless entry, so whenever you put your hand on the door here, it actually unlocks the vehicle. Pretty handy feature there. Coming around the back of the car, on the XT models, there is a little spoiler here. Pretty fancy there. Looking underneath, something that's a little different on the vehicle. The turbo engine model does have the dual exhaust in the back, and from what I understand, a lot of engine parts on this Forester XT model can actually be swapped with STI parts. So if you're looking to do upgrades on the vehicle as far as exhaust or tuner or anything like that, a lot of STI parts are interchangeable with the Forester as well. So that's something that kind of comes in handy. Definitely a nice feature. Coming on the inside of the car, I have a 5-year-old, so it's definitely really handy. Car seat fits back here really well. On the inside of the vehicle, you can kind of see, I'm not really tall, I'm 5'10", but you can fit an adult back here very comfortably and very easily. And whew, plenty of knee room. I could easily stretch out my feet under the seat. I don't know if you can see real well or not. Other than that, seats are very nice, kind of a nice black leather in here. Windows in the back, child box in the back. There is a fold down here with cup holders for kids or whoever. You could also store like a magazine or a book back there if you really wanted to. Other than that, not really much in the back. On the Touring model, there is dual air control, and I think there's air in the back. On the XT Premium, they do not have that. For 2017, the headlights and taillights were also slightly upgraded, or interchanged, or updated, if you want to say. I think they call it a refresh on the models. And then kind of looking at the front here, on the XT models, there's actually a different bumper cover. So you can see on the left and right side, there's kind of those black slats there. To the left and right of those black slats, they're on the Touring model, there's actually fog lights there. The headlights on the Touring model also have Subaru eyesight, so as you're turning around a corner, the headlights actually will turn with you. So that's definitely something that's nice. I'll show you guys kind of what it looks like under the hood. Also with the hood too, on the standard Forester, I think it's just kind of a straight across hood. This one kind of has like, I guess, a bubble up more towards the center to kind of make room for the intercooler for the turbo. So I'll kind of show you guys what that looks like. I think maybe 3-4 years ago, the XTs actually had a hood scoop, which personally I think looked cooler. I don't know why they did away with it. So under the hood, Subaru Boxer, nice little engine cover. Intercooler sits right there on top. You can see that pretty well. As far as ease of maintenance, a lot of, I guess, routine maintenance and fluids that you would need to check or top off are all in a very central location. Battery is very easily accessible if you ever have to change it. Washer fluid changed right here. Engine oil's right there. The oil filter actually sits on top of the engine. I've never seen that before, so that's kind of interesting. But from what I understand, they recommend that you use their Subaru oil filter, or you can potentially have problems. I don't know what problems there would be with using an aftermarket one, but we'll kind of see how that goes. I need to read up more on that. But that's kind of what it looks like under the engine. Looks pretty. Everything's really organized, easy to get to. Doesn't look like you know, you have to remove anything out of the way to get to any of the stuff that you would regularly have to have access to. Inside of the vehicle from the driver's seat, really nice view. I like the steering wheel a lot. I'll kind of start it up here so we can see. The XT Premium just has a standard key fob, lock and unlock. Nothing really too special there. So the steering wheel is very, very comfortable in the hands. The Touring model actually has heated hand grips here, and it also has a driver seat memory for I think up to 4 different memory sets. So if you have a partner or spouse that's driving the vehicle, very nice to not have to constantly move the seat back and forth. I just have the premium one, and I noticed that when my wife and I have different seat positions, so every time I get in the car I had to change it. As far as windows, the driver's and passenger side windows both have auto windows, so that's kind of nice for up and down. That's very convenient. I'm coming from a 1997 Pontiac Trans Am, so it's definitely a nice transition for me to have a car that actually has air conditioning, let alone any other bells and whistles. As far as the car goes, you can put it into manual or drive. My Trans Am was a manual, so it's a little bit weird to use paddle shifters. They are still pretty fun. The car itself, when you're driving, has a couple different modes. It has intelligent mode, sport mode, and sport sharp mode. Intelligent mode is going to be kind of for your driving around town, wanting to save on gas mileage, etc. sort of thing. Sport mode is more of like a highway mode, I would say, and then sport sharp mode is when you're, I guess, wanting to feel the acceleration and kind of, put the hammer down and have fun driving it. Or maybe if you're, doing some off-roading, something like that. Other than that, you can actually answer and end your phone and scroll through your phone book all from the steering wheel, change songs, adjust volume, cruise controls on there, all that. Front and rear windshield wipers, pretty convenient. Something that I really thought was like, the first thing when I got in this car to test drive it, the first thing that struck me was just the field of view. Because there's so much headroom in this car, there's so much more windshield and there's so much more window, so you feel like you can see everything. And on top of that, there's a sunroof on this vehicle that's really large. I don't know if you can see it with my GoPro on. I'll find out here in a second. So standard sunroof, I would say, maybe comes back to like the passenger headrest. So I would expect it to be like maybe something like right there. This one actually goes back about twice as far. So you can push the sunroof all the way back halfway into the passenger seats of the car. So you get a really big sunroof. If you're on a trip somewhere, putting the sunroof up, it lets a lot of air in, lets a lot of sunlight in. You can see if you're trying to do something. Front looking back, that's kind of what it looks like looking to the rear of the vehicle. I definitely recommend when you're not driving to put the sunroof cover back, or when you get in the car, it's going to be really hot, especially with the black interior. Other things on the dash, we've got AC. The Touring model has dual climate control. The 2017 refresh has a lot better. I test drove a 2015 and a 2016, and I noticed that it felt like there was a lot of road noise. And I don't know if that's just because the car sits up so high or what, but with the 2017, I think they added thicker glass, and they also added a better insulation for the car. And this car has no road noise. It's extremely quiet. It's quiet enough that even though the engine's quiet, you can kind of hear the turbo whistling, almost like a turbo diesel kind of whistle, like a. It's not like something like a race car or anything crazy, but definitely it's cool to notice it and hear that and see it. Above the user interface, there's kind of a second dash up here where you have your temperature display, so you can change it from 72 to 70. You can adjust how strong you want the air to be. It has a display for the turbo. It shows you what your the gauge where the PSI is at. You can kind of flip through and see different things. There's a time display. Shows you what your miles per gallon average is for this fuel trip. Can show you your live mile per gallon, whatever you're getting at that time. It also has all-wheel drive. I guess you can kind of monitor each wheel, how well the traction is doing. And then in addition to that, besides the Sport Intelligent and Sport Sharp mode, there's a mode called X mode, which is for under 26 miles an hour. So if you're driving in inclement weather like snow or off-road or something like that, you get a little bit better traction there. Got heated seats for both sides. As far as switching it over to manual, you just put it in drive and then push the gear indicator shifter over from D to M. That'll put it in manual so you can use the paddle shifters. Though, while in standard drive, you can actually use the paddle shifter still, and then if you just want to quit shifting, it'll automatically kind of pick up back onto itself. The transmission does have 8 gears, and I'll say this, that you can't really finesse it as well as you can with a manual transmission, that's for sure. When you have a clutch, you have absolute control of how smooth everything shifts. With the paddle shifters, it's pretty aggressive. So as you're driving along, if you're like downshift, 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 you get that like it's almost like a jerky kind of feeling, but still you can get used to it, and you can kind of watch your RPM gauge, and you can kind of use that to help you engine brake and downshift and get the most out of it when it's in manual mode. Storage in the front, 2 pretty large cup holders in here, got a coin storage tray, can fit a whole box of tissues in there, auxiliary port, 2 USB chargers. There's an additional cigarette lighter up under the dash. Huge storage area here. Additional storage up here where if you wanted to put your phone or something. In the XT Premium, they don't have the auto-dimming mirror, but the Touring Edition does. I believe all Foresters have home links, so you can do 3 different presets here for your garage door openers. I've just used the one for my garage door. That's pretty much it. Really large, I guess, vanity mirrors with lights. That's nice. Sun visor flips down pretty far. There is like a Subaru, I guess it's kind of like, what do you call it, like OnStar. Subaru has their own version of OnStar. You can talk to them at any time. If you're driving on the road, you get tired, you need to talk to somebody to keep you, have them keep you awake, you can just press the blue button. If you get into a car accident, you can press the red button. Somebody from Subaru will come on and talk to you, make sure you're okay. I believe if you get into an accident, that automatically happens anyway. However, still pretty cool you can do that, or if you're having a medical emergency, something like that. It's a nice peace of mind to know that that's there to help keep you safe if need be. Other than that, pretty large storage compartment for the glove box there. And that's pretty much everything for the front. Obviously the vehicle is all-wheel drive. From what I understand, with the ground clearance, these sit up quite a bit higher than the Outback, I think by at least a few inches. These do pretty well in pretty much all weather. What else we got up here? I think that's everything for the front. The UI is actually really good. I need to read the book to, I guess, learn how to get the most out of it, because right now I'm probably just using it for basic things. I use it for phone calls, and it'll automatically read you a text message. So if you get a text message, it'll kind of beep at you. You can link your whole phone book to it, and then it has voice recognition, so you can actually, as you're using it, it'll learn your voice, so you can tell it, call home, call wife, call work, whatever you want. That'll kind of all happen over time. And then in addition to that, I'll show you guys the trunk. So here's the trunk. Again, with the Touring model, you get a little bit more, fanciness to it. The Touring model actually has an automatically opening trunk. This one does not. Trunk opens up. First thing you see is definitely a pretty large storage space for a small SUV. But I mean, as I've noticed with test driving a couple Subarus, they have so much attention to detail in everything they do. Even into down to just this little, this cover. You got stuff back here you maybe don't want somebody to look in the car and see it. You can cover it up so it's, kind of conceals what you have in the vehicle. You can open it up, stack stuff up to the ceiling. This vehicle is not as long as the Outback, but it does sit up taller than the Outback, so the storage space is honestly about the same. I chose to get the all-weather mats with this vehicle, not only to keep the front, keep the floors clean in the vehicle in the front and the passenger seats, but primarily we do a lot of gardening and stuff at home where we're hauling stuff back and forth. It's nice to have this back here so that we don't ruin the carpet and get that all scraped up. There's some lights back here on the side. That's nice. In the touring model, they actually have buttons on the side. Right here, we just have caps, but there's a button. You can just push it, and it will like electrically just push the seat down. You can still do that in this model. You just have to do it kind of manually with your hand. There's little things back here. There's tethers for car seats, cargo net to help hold your groceries back there. The floor mat actually lifts up, and there's additional storage beyond what you see just underneath the seat, which is amazing. And then underneath that is where the spare tire is. And I don't think it's a full-size spare tire, it's just a smaller one, but still, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, even beyond just stretching this thing over the top to, not have people see what you have, if someone broke in the car, they may not even see that there's this additional storage under there. So that's another way to kind of protect, your belongings and keep them safe in the car, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the trunk. I'll go ahead and I'll get loaded up here, and then I will take you guys for a spin just so you can kind of see how it does on the highway and through some turns and stuff like that. But yeah, so far about 575 miles in or so, maybe 600 miles. Really, really happy with this purchase. I definitely do not regret it. All right, also, first thing before I start driving, can we just address this? When you buy a Subaru, you get that free $4, maybe $5 swag. They totally give you a Subaru hat. Peep that out. And if you're gonna buy a car, what better reason than getting a free hat with it? Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, start off, let's get the sunroof cranked up. You might see a little bit better here. I mean, boom, huge sunroof. All right, let's take this thing for a spin. I'm gonna start off just kind of driving around in intelligent mode, and then if I can think about anything else, I'll kind of bring it up and talk to you guys about it while we're doing that also. As far as the sound system goes, well, there you go, it yells at you if you're not wearing your seatbelt. That's a good safety feature. And then also, while I'm on the topic of safety features, this vehicle actually has 7 airbags. There is a driver and passenger airbag. There is a knee airbag. There is 2 curtain airbags for the drivers, and then 6 and 7 are the rear passenger curtain airbags. So I know in addition to that, the Subaru Forester is Subaru's #2 selling vehicle of all time, followed by the Outback. I think it's won like 5 or 6 of the last like 6 or 7 years for being like the safest SUV to purchase, or safest subcompact or safest small SUV that you can purchase. So that's definitely a good thing, for me. This is just for me. I drive it on the weekend. Really, my wife is the primary driver of the vehicle, and she's hauling, my son around. So it's kind of a good peace of mind to know that, when they're driving around during the day, if something happened to them in this car, they would be safe, or at least as safe as you can be for driving a car. So that's something that's nice right there. The car, as I kind of mentioned before, the car is so quiet. Very, right now I have the air turned up pretty loud, but I could turn that down. But you can see when the air is off, the car is dead quiet. You can hear very well. You can have a conversation with somebody in the back without having to turn around, or turn your ear to hear them better. Driving around town, on the website, this is, I guess, if I have a complaint, this is one of them. And I didn't really expect great gas mileage with getting the turbo, the turbo engine. The standard engine has 170 horsepower. The turbo upgrade has 250 horsepower, so it's an 80 horsepower upgrade. So going into it, I was more interested in the horsepower, not really caring, what my miles per gallon was going to be or anything like that. But I have not been getting as good of around town mile per gallon that they advertise this vehicle to get. I think they advertise it as like 22 to 24. I've been getting about 18 to 20. But then again, I probably drive it in Sport Shark mode more than I should. So other than that, I mean, that's my biggest complaint. We really haven't gone on any long road trips on the highway or anything like that. So it's hard to say, you know, what my highway miles per gallon would be, but around the city, I don't think it's quite as good as they say it is. In addition to that, the sound system, I actually was really surprised by. I'll put some music on. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it real well or not. But yeah, just playing on Gorillas, you can totally notice, I don't know, it probably is hard to hear with the GoPro speaker and the mic and all that, but you can tell that the sound quality is actually really good. I was surprised by how bassy that the stereo is just all on its own without you having to adjust any of the settings or presets or anything like that. Really impressed by that. The in-car phone quality is really awesome. If you get a call, it'll ask you if you want to take it on your phone or if you want to take it on the car phone. And again, I was impressed by the quality of that. Really awesome. I'm going to jump on the highway here really quick and throw it into Sport Sharp mode and kind of show you what the acceleration's like. So when you can kind of hear the turbo kick in. So when you're in intelligent mode driving around the city, the throttle response is great. You know, I tried driving the model that didn't have the turbo, and it was very anemic, especially for the weight of a small SUV. I didn't feel like that engine was big enough. However, they say that the standard engine and the turbo engine both have a 1500 towing capacity, so that's cool. Alright, so when you put it into Sport Sharp mode, first thing you notice is that the responsiveness of the throttle is so much more reactive. Let's see if I can get around this car here. So, kind of putting the pedal down, throw it into Sport Sharp mode, engine just takes off like you're gone. Like just right there, I went from 60 to 90 and passed a bunch of people without really even thinking much about it. So that's another nice thing. You can definitely get around in this car. You will not feel like you're driving a slow car or anything like that. So I just got a text message from my wife. When a text message pops up in the car, the user interface will ask you, do you want to ignore it or do you want to read it? So I'll go ahead and I'll click read. And then,
HD, are you okay?
You know, it'll read you the text message. From there, you can click return. It'll take you right back to the song you were playing. Other than that, when you're in Sport Sharp mode, it'll tell you what gear you're in. So if you're coming into a corner, you can click downshift, downshift, downshift. If you're downshifting too much, the engine will automatically beep at you and kind of do like a do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And it won't let you go, you know, if you're going 80 miles an hour, it's not going to let you go into first gear. It'll kind of cap it maybe like third or fourth gear. So that's kind of a little bit about how that works. Same thing with the twisty roads here. I noticed the suspension and the handling is great. It has a shorter wheelbase than the Outback. So when you're driving around curves and twists and stuff like that, you can definitely maneuver quicker and on a shorter radius for turning. In addition to that, the car does have a backup camera. Pretty good one, I'd say. I've actually never had a backup camera in any vehicle I owned before, so for me it's nice just to have one. It doesn't do any auto-assisted backing or anything like that a Tesla would do. However, still very nice. It has I guess 3 different zones. It has green, yellow, and red. And then when you're in the red, that's kind of, I guess, obviously the point when you're backing up. You're close enough to something. If you're parallel parking, you would want to stop at that point. And it'll get you really close to whatever you're trying to back up to. When I'm mowing the grass, I move this car out behind my wife's car. And when I'm backing up, when I get to that zone where it shows the red, it looks like you're like still a foot away. And you get out of the car and it's got you a good, you know, you'll be like 4 or 5 inches away from whatever you're trying to back up to. So other than that, that's pretty much all I can think about for the car right now in regards to the general overview of it. Again, I'm absolutely super impressed with this car. We did purchase it new. I think we paid 27 or 28,000 for it. I did get a couple additional extra discounts. I had a Subaru Ambassador $500 off coupon, and we ended up getting ours at a little bit less of a price than that. Subaru, if you finance through Subaru, if you do a 4-year loan, they actually are doing a 0% deal like every other month, so you can almost always find a good deal for financing. You can do 5 or 6 years. If you're doing 60 or 72 months, they don't offer 0%. However, I have really good credit. I think I qualified for like 1.9% or something like that. So really good. I qualified for their top tier credit. Subaru doesn't do their own financing. It's through Chase Bank. So if you bank at Chase, your auto loan will automatically populate in your Chase account, so you can do payments through there, all that, very easy. Some other nice things, trying to think, I think I kind of told you guys everything. Yeah, my favorite things are definitely things that stand out to me when I'm, it's just the scope of view, how well you can see is probably the biggest thing. It's safe, handles well, nice sunroof, very comfortable seats, leg room for adult passengers or teenagers in the back. So, if you have kids and you're going to have this car for a long time, most people that have Subarus keep them for, a million miles because they're always good forever. And the people that don't love Subaru so much that they trade in their Subaru for the next same model, just the new one. So that's kind of how that works with them most of the time. So I know personally when I was making a new car purchase, I've got a 5-year-old. So, for me, I'm thinking, I'm going to have this car for 5-6 years. My son's going to be a teenager by the time I have it paid off. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've got that I can think of right now. I'm sure there's so many other cool little things about this car that I haven't mentioned. So other than that, if you guys have any other questions or concerns or comments or anything about this car, absolutely feel free to leave a comment below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm pretty quick with replying to comments. So, feel free to ask any questions or, correct me if I said something wrong in the video. I'm sure I did. I don't know a ton about this car. And then beyond that, primarily this is a motorcycle motovlog channel. However, obviously I love cars and motorcycles, so I'll definitely be posting, content with both. But yeah, don't forget to, if you enjoyed this video or if you watched any other videos on my channel and you enjoyed watching them, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any other videos you would like to see.